Thank you for tuning in to the AFL Fantasy Network. We are fixing to take you live to the Screaming Eagles training camp where team owner Robert Hatcher is set to make some announcements leading up to the draft. So let's take you there live. I would like to thank everybody for being here today. Uh, this is our first press conference of the 2012 season. I really want to talk about how we finished last year and where I think the team's going to go this year, and also talk about a couple of the other teams that was in the league last year as well. So, last year I thought we did a good job in the draft. We picked some very key players. We had Darren McFadden, Chris Johnson at running back, along with Ahmad Bradshaw. We had a couple of talented receivers. Really Kenny Britt shined for us there the first 3 or 4 games of the season. So, we had some good quality players last year. We started off the season 8-0. We won our division last year, but we followed up with 4 consecutive losses. Lost the first round of the playoffs there. So, started strong, didn't finish very well. So we're hoping to remedy that this year. Of course, a lot of that was due to player injuries. Lost Darren McFadden for several weeks. Chris Johnson never got going last year. Kenny Britt we lost for the season early on. So a lot of key injuries, and there just really wasn't a whole lot of free agent pool, players out there to bring onto the team to really make a difference that late in the season. So, we picked 6 in the draft this year. So just really looking forward to that and getting us another good solid team to make a run at the championship this year. So, having said that, I'll open the floor for a few questions. Uh, yeah. Mhm. Well, I mean, if you look at drafts, I mean that's the most important part of fantasy football season, just like it is with regular football. I mean, that's where you get your caliber team. So I do have a trivia question for you. Was the only team owner to pick 2 consecutive teams to go to the Super Bowl? Does anybody know that question? Yes, that would be me. I've picked 2 teams back to back that has went to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I haven't been my own, but we're going to remedy that this year. Year one, I picked the Powder Puffers team for them since they were unable to attend the draft. Um, they went to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Berg that year. And then last year, our league champions, the Engineers, due to him being out of the country, he was unable to attend the draft. So I picked that team as well last year, and they wound up being league champions. So, uh, year three, we're looking at picking another Super Bowl team, but this year it's going to be the black and gold. So we're going to go all the way. Um, and talking about the Engineers, the so-called champs of the league, it's pretty easy to win a championship with a team that was picked for you. So, that's all I'm going to say about them. When we look at, Smoking Smoky, they had a pretty good run last year. They were a new team into the league, had a really good run. I mean, I think they drafted Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. I think they rolled him like a mule there at the last end of the season. So, um, but he's not going to have them this year. I mean, he picks 11th in the draft, so Aaron Rodgers ain't going to be available. So he's going to have to do something else since his mule there is not going to be available. Next question. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really think about it, the Super Bowl Slammers, another new team into the league that this year. They came in third place. I mean, they did very well last year, but honestly, you can't keep picking the entire New England Patriots offense and expect to be a high quality caliber team in the American Patriots League. It's just not feasible. So, I don't even know if he knows any other players if they don't play for the New England Patriots. So, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. DeBerg. Well, the owner's been a good friend of mine for quite some time. I mean, he was one of the original teams. Uh, but, he peaked too early. They came into the first year of the league, and boom, he's the champ. He took it. But the problem is he's not ever going to make it back there. So, the most exciting time of his fantasy football career happened in year one. So that sucks, having to think that he'll never be on top again. So I think fourth place, he finished this past year. That was some mercy. I mean, he was 8-4 in the regular season, kind of turned it on up there in the playoffs, but he won't make it in the top three again. He peaked way too soon. Uh, Next question. Yeah, yeah. The Powder Puffers, and same thing with Pink Gridiron Gang. The Powder Puffers finished fifth. The Pink Gridiron Gang finished 14th. Um, it's just a man's game. I mean, it's football. I mean, this is not crochet or cricket, tennis, or whatever. So they'll never win a championship. No. I mean, the only reason the Powder Puffers went to the Super Bowl is because I picked their team. They need to play fantasy knitting or something like that. Something more important for a woman to do than fantasy football. So, moving on there. Uh, the Vibrators. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're whiny babies. I understand. I don't like turning on ESPN and seeing the team owner Craig on the news blaming, him not making the playoffs on everybody, but himself. So, yeah, every league has their crybaby team. Um, he missed the playoffs last year and the year before that, actually. But he's got an excuse for every time he lost a game. So, um, that's all we can say about them. Next question. Well, I like the owner of the Seatown Crushers. I mean, Matt's a good guy. He's another new team for the league. Last year, he did okay. I mean, he came in ninth place, kind of like in the middle of the pack there. Uh, but, I mean, he has the same mentality as his favorite football team, which is the Cowboys. He's got Jerry Jones's big eyeballs and big pockets, goes out and gets these players, but they can't get the job done. They have flashes of brilliance, and then they just come tumbling down when it comes to the big game. So, um, I don't think he'll ever break the top three in the finals, especially this year. I mean, he's just like Tony Romo. I mean, what can you say about a Cowboys fan? So, next question. Bulldogs, yeah. I mean, he's old. He's kind of like the Joe Paterno of our fantasy league. Um, frankly, I don't even know if he can watch this press conference or not. I don't even know if he knows how to open a computer. Um, I think last year his wife did most of his bench work for him in his lineup. So even if he does get this open tonight, he's probably going to have an hearing aid to hear it. So, but I do love him. Yeah, he is my old man. So, but he had a really good year the first year, season champ, but didn't make it to the big game. So I think his luck will continue. Next. hmm Firehouse Dogs. His biggest thing was he let his wife pick his team at the draft last year. Uh, he was at the firehouse, working or sleeping or whatever they do there. And Cheryl, his wife, was at the draft trying to talk to him on the phone and pick a team. So that's never a good idea, man. We just hope that he's at the draft this year, make it go a lot smoother, and hopefully he can get a better team. I think he only won 2 games last year. So everybody's looking at their schedule like, man, do I play, Firehouse Dogs or In Your Face? Because that's an automatic win for me. So anyway, hopefully he can pick his own team this year. Next question. Well, In Your Face, I mean, uh, what can I say about Gary? I mean, he's a really good guy, love him to death. Don't know a lot about football though, so um, he loves picking players with his last name Johnson. So Gary, if you're watching the press conference, since you do have the first pick in the draft, stay away from somebody's last name who's Johnson. Um, but I will give you this advice, since you don't keep up with football that much, on who I should think your first pick should be. I think you should go after a quarterback, and I think that quarterback should be Tim Tebow. I think he's a big, strong quarterback. He's going to run a little wildcat, probably get some rushing touchdowns. They're going to boo Sanchez out. So, man, I think he'd be an excellent first-round pick for your team in Saturday's draft. So, hey, if you're watching this, take my advice. Pick Tim Tebow, number 1. So, that's going to kind of wrap up my press conference today. Just wanted to come out, discuss how we did last year, what our vision is in 2012, kind of what I think about the other teams in the league. So once again, I appreciate everybody coming out, and we will see you at our next press conference. Thanks.